Guys, this is Grace and welcome to my channel and welcome to a new scrapbook video. This is going to be a double page layout, and this was inspired by a layout that I watched on YouTube from a YouTuber named Laura Alberts. She did a 6x6 lay or no, she did a 12 by 12 layout with 6 by 6 papers, and she used a design where she had cut out about 2-inch squares and she turned it on its side to make it look like a diamond. And then she cut the squares into, well, some of the squares in half, so there's triangles, and then she laid that triangle on the bottom of the diamond so that there's layers, and then she also added some hearts to go with it. And I thought that was a really cool trick and technique to use up some papers and also to do some layering. So I'm gonna try to attempt something like that, but I'm not gonna do triangles or diamonds or squares. I'm actually gonna do hexagons, just because look, I don't have anything against people like scrap lifting things like from like all of it. Like, I don't have anything against that. But for me, I feel like at this point of my scrapbooking, like I can challenge myself to kind of find my own twist to things that I am seeing. So that's what I'm doing here. Again, there's nothing wrong with the style of the diamonds and the squares and all and the triangles. I think it's really cool, but I just kind of wanted to see if I can challenge myself a little bit further and kind of have my own twist on it. And she did a single page layout, but I am going to do a double page just because I have a lot more photos that I wanted to incorporate with this particular documentation. So here is my hexagon die, and I'm just trying to figure out what is the best size that I can use for this. You also noticed that I had cut out 1/4-inch strips of paper. That's going to be my border because I'm going to start off, or my base rather would be white. I felt like with all of the papers that I wanted to incorporate in this layout, the best background will be white. But if you've been watching me for a while and you know my style, you know I like borders around my pages. I just like to give it that defining edge to my page, and so I always go with a frame, whether that's like backing it to create a frame, or like what I'm doing here, I'm cutting them into 1/4-inch strips, and then I am mitering the edges. Again, that's kind of like my go-to. I just like the nice look of the mitered edge, and so I'm doing that, and then I'm going to adhere that to the page. But now I'm going to go ahead and start cutting my hexagons. And like what I told you earlier, she had added hearts, like tucked the hearts inside the pockets, as I guess you can call it, pockets. And I kind of tried to do that, like put it underneath that half of the hexagon, but honestly I didn't like the look of it. So I am going to, again, another variation or deviation, I should say, from the inspiration was I am actually going to put the hearts over it. That's just because I felt like it didn't really showcase the shape of it. And like I said, if you know, I have nothing against people scrap lifting it from start to finish. I think it's great, especially if you're just starting out. I think it's a great way for you to just kind of try out different looks, different styles until you find what fits you best. For me, I have been doing this for a while. So my oldest is now 17. He's going to be 18 in July. And so I started scrapbooking when, like this type of scrapbooking, when he was about 9 months old. I say this type of scrapbooking because I think we all have had an opportunity to do some kind of memory keeping when we were young. It didn't have to be the acid-free, lignin-free type of papers that we were using, or the stickers, or the different kinds of techniques and designs that we know or associate with scrapbooking now, but I'm sure we've done some kind of other types of memory keeping before. So anyways, going back to the layout, as you can see, now I'm just kind of putting it together. Again, the inspiration that I was using for this, she had put all of her diamonds on I believe it was on the right side, and then she put her photo, or maybe it was photos, and then journaling on the left side. But because I am doing a double page layout, I felt like I can do kind of a corner to corner type of design where I'm going to be putting on the left side of the double page, I'm going to put it on the top left, and then I'm going to do the bottom right. So that's kind of where I am at right now. And then I'm also deciding that those hearts just felt a little lonely to me. Well, some of them anyways. And so I am going to attach some brads to them. I have this brad set from Simple Stories. By the way, all of the supplies that I used for this particular layout, besides the white cardstock, is from the Simple Stories. I believe it's Summer Farmhouse collection. I have that. I've had that for a while in my stash, and I have a few items from that particular collection. Not only do I have the papers, I also have some stickers and also this brad pack, and so I felt like it was time for me to bust them out and to try to use them. Now in my head I was going to use all brads, but then it got a little bit chunky, and also the sizes of them, they vary, and that's totally fine, and they do have, some of them have designs, but with the theme that I was going for and just the look that I was going for, I felt like having all of them have brads, I felt was a little overkill. And so I will be pulling out some enamel dots, which, yeah, I think that wasn't Simple Story. So I take that back. Besides the white cardstock and the enamel dots, and I think some letter stickers. Those were not Farmhouse or Summer Farmhouse. But other than that, everything else was from that collection. So as you can see, I am using a little foam. It's actually a a brad holder of some sort, like it was a packaging for brads that I bought a long time ago, and I am just using that as my foam, where I use it underneath my paper so I can pierce the hole. And then I also use that kind of a foam for when I am doing some acrylic stamping, besides using my Tim Holtz stamp positioner. Okay, so now I have adhered all of my photos. They are mostly vertical photos, and they of course are 3x4. I did add a couple of horizontal just to show the scores of the kiddos. As you can tell, this layout is of bowling. When my kids were really little, when we were still living in California, one of the things that we like to do in the summer was to find like free things that we can do, and I discovered a website that's called Kids Bowling Free, or Kids Free Bowl, something like that, and wherein you can sign up, and once a week you can bowl at the places that are part of this program. And well, you still have to pay for shoes if if you have the shoes, if you don't have the shoes rather. So it was an activity that the kids really liked, but once I started going back to school, it kind of was put on hiatus, just because my my school goes all the way up to like mid or third week of July. So it was harder for me to do the summer things with the kids all throughout June because I was still going to school. And so one of the things that we did right after I finished school was to kind of do the little things that we used to do before school started. So this was one of the things that we tried to revisit after I was done with school. And this was actually the first time that my youngest, who was, I think, 5 at this time. And this was the first time that he's ever gone bowling. So those are some of like the mom guilts that I have because I was going to school and my youngest just kind of did not experience some of the things that my bigger kids experienced. But then again, we just got to remember there's always a time and a season for everything. And so I'm going to have to stop feeling guilty that my youngest didn't really experience, or my youngest's childhood is not quite the same as his older brother and sister. But, we just, I don't know about you, but I have mom guilt once in a while. And I just got to remember to kind of turn down the volume on that voice because, it's not healthy to have that, right? So anyways, going back to the layout, I'm almost done here. I did pre-print my journaling, so that's almost done, or that is done. I did ink up the edges. I don't know if I said that earlier. I inked up the edges of all of the hexagon cuts that I had made. So is the heart, and so is my journaling, just to kind of make it stand out against all of those layers. But I really, really liked how this layout turned out. Now I'm thinking, okay, so I did a hexagon. I'm thinking I could do this with circles and half circles and then layer it with something, probably maybe stars to kind of change it up a bit. But I hope that you guys were inspired by this. If you want to watch Laura Albert's video, I'm going to make sure to link that in the description box below. And if you have any questions, make sure to leave that in the comment section below and I'll try to answer it as fast as I can. And I hope that you guys like this video. If you do, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. And that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in another video. Bye.